voltage is applied over here. During the positive voltage, D1 will conduct. At the same time, you are applying the negative potential to the D2 and will not conduct. You are getting the positive at the output. During the negative half cycle, D1 will not conduct, but D2 will conduct. So this is the output. So as far in the case of half wave rectifier, we were not getting this pulse. Here was the blank, but in the case of full wave rectifier, we are getting both the cycles. So it was the configuration of the full wave rectifier designed with the help of center tap type rectifier. This one is the another way of configuring the, you can say, full wave rectifier, where we are using the 4 diodes. This is a normal transformer. In the case of, you can say, center tap transformer, that was the advanced version transformer. This is a normal transformer. This is a primary, higher number of turns are higher. This is a secondary, number of turns should be less. Now whenever there is a positive half cycle, the diode D1 will conduct and supply will move like this, friends. Through load, we are moving like this. Your current is moving like this. Current is moving like this through this diode, and circuit gets completed like this. This is the working during the positive half cycle. Now during the negative half cycle, you can say this is the negative potential you are applying. This is the negative. Here is a negative. This is the negative terminal of the diode. Negative is a forward bias, and hence you are moving like this. This is the way you are moving from the load. Then again this is a negative terminal of the diode, so is in forward bias, and you are completing your circuit like this. So this one is your AC voltage applied over here, and this is the, you can say, output finally we are getting at the load terminal. One can say this is the cycle. This is the cycle which was not there in the half wave rectifier, but we are getting the full cycle. This is the first half cycle, this is the first diode, this is the fourth diode, this is the second diode, this is the third diode. Like this we are getting the output. Now as I told you, whenever we are converting any AC voltage into DC voltage, there may be certain component present in output, that is AC components. We need to remove these AC components present at the output. For that we may use the, you can say, filter circuit. So in order to remove these unwanted AC components from the output of a rectifier, the smoothing it, we are using the filter circuits. So basically we are going to study 3 filtering circuit. First one is the shunt capacitor filter circuit. This circuit uses the capacitor as one of the main component. Now there is one important thing for this capacitor is the capacitive reactance. Capacitive reactance is known as XC. XC equal to 1 upon 2 pi Fc. 1 upon 2 pi Fc. F is the frequency. XC is the capacitive reactance. In simple word, it is known as resistance offered by the capacitor. XC is the capacitive reactance, resistance offered by the capacitor, and this resistance will be less for the AC, because AC is having certain frequency. In the formula of capacitive reactance, XC equal to 1 upon 2 pi Fc. As the frequency increases, XC increases. But as we know, if there is a AC component present here, AC component if present here, after the process of rectification, it is having certain frequency component, and those frequency component may be bypassed with the help of this capacitor. And if 99% DC components are, let we assume, are there, then these DC components are getting higher reactance path, because the DC component where frequency is equal to 0 and XC becomes infinitive for the DC component. So these DC components may not flow from this capacitor, hence they are flowing like this. But if it is a AC component, they are having certain frequency, and hence they are moving like this and are grounded. So this is the terminal, this is the point where we can minimize these AC components. This is a simple shunt capacitor filter. Next one is the inductor filter, where the totally inverse funda of capacitor is used in the inductive filter. One is can say is an inductor filter. As I told you, capacitive reactance XC equal to 1 upon 2 pi Fc, XL equal to 2 pi FL. XL is known as the inductive reactance that depends directly on a frequency. Higher the frequency, higher the reactance. If your signal is having the higher frequency component, that frequency component is having the, you can say, higher reactance, and hence those components may not cross this barrier, and I mean the inductive path, and they will block over here, and the whatever components are there which are having not the frequency, that is, you can say, DC frequency, they can move easily from this particular inductive circuit or inductor. Next is the, you can say, chop input LC filter, where we are using the inductor as well capacitor. The inductor will block the AC component, not allowing AC to pass. If there is a certain AC still are moving from this inductor, then that AC component again bypassed with the help of capacitor. As I told you, XC equal to 1 upon 2 pi FC. This capacitor will bypass all the frequency components. Next is the pi filter, where one can say the use of capacitor, inductor and capacitor is used. The presentation of this pi filter is look like Greek letter pi. Here one can say, first of all, we are using the capacitor. The capacitor first of all bypass the AC components present. If still there is a certain AC components remain after the passing out from this capacitor C1, then the remaining AC components may be passed from this inductor. Inductor will not allow to pass from these AC components, and the remaining whatever remaining components are there, AC components are there, that can be removed by this another capacitor, there is a C2. So this is how we can use the filter circuit to minimize these AC component at the output circuitry. Now one can say there are totally, briefly I can classify the 5 types of diodes. One is the signal diodes, another is the power diodes, next is a Zener diode, another is a varactor diode, and the light emitting diode. Amongst these, Zener diode and light emitting diodes are widely used in our day-to-day life applications. But signal diodes, let I say, they are mainly used in a small currents or a voltage applications. They are large, having forward resistance ratio and minimum junction capacitance. They find applications in a radio wave detectors as an electronic switch in a logic circuitry. Then comes the power diodes. They are mainly used in rectifiers, usually silicon diodes, very high current carrying capacity, you can say around 30 amperes, and having the capable of handling large power through it. Then comes the Zener diode. This is very important component in an electronic circuit. These are the components which are used as a power voltage regulator. Previously, before this, normally what we are using Zener as a voltage regulator. But nowadays, friends, we are using ICs available in market which may be used as a voltage regulator. These voltage regulators are, you can say, it may give you positive voltage regulator as well negative voltage regulators. The available ICs for the voltage regulator are available for 5 volt, 6 volt, 9 volt, for 10 volt, for 12 volt. It may be for the negative voltages, for the 5 volt negative, for the 6 volt negative, for the 9 volt negative, for the 12 volt negative. If one need 5 volt positive voltage regulator IC, then one may remember the number like this. If you select 78 series, then 7805 is the one of the IC which is used to give the 5 volt positive 7805. Suppose you need 6 volt positive voltage regulator, then you may select 7806 IC. If you go for 9 volt positive, you may select 7809. Like that, if you need negative voltage regulator ICs, only one need to do is to change this series. You can check 7905 is 5 volt negative, 7906 minus 6 volt, 7910 minus 10 volt. This is how one can select the ICs available from the market for the voltage regulator. Regulator circuitries, you can say, one can provide for the stabilization of the output. Now, varactor diode. This is the very important component as far as normally in a radio tuning. What we are doing, we are selecting the station. So is a basically frequency selective circuit what we need to implement in the radios. So either you can use inductor or one can use capacitor for the selection of the frequency. So frequency selection depends on if it is a capacitor, then 1 upon 2 pi FC or 1 upon 2 pi LC. So by selecting the inductor or value of the capacitor, one can change the frequency. So in case of varactor diode works on the principle of if one is applying negative voltage to the positive and negative voltage to the positive of the diode, and the negative terminal of the diode is connected to the positive terminal of the battery like this. This is the symbolical presentation of the varactor diode. If you connect anode of the diode with the negative plate and a cathode of the diode with the positive plate. Now what happens if you connect your diode in a reverse bias? Basically diode is having two semiconducting materials. These two semiconducting materials behaves as a two plates of the capacitor, and the depletion region formed when we are connecting our diode in a reverse bias, that behaves as a insulating material. Now it forms a capacitor C equal to epsilon 0 A by D. So whenever we increase the reverse bias voltage, the depletion region increases. As I told you, the formula C equal to epsilon 0 A by D. D is the distance between two plates. As the D increases, C decreases. So as I told you, to decrease or increase the distance, the reverse bias voltage or forward bias voltage is very important. If one is applying forward bias voltage to the diode, the depletion region decreases. But our case is to increase the depletion region. To increase the depletion region, one can apply the negative potential across the diode. So as we increase the negative potential across the diode, what happens? The depletion region increases. As per the formula of the capacitor, C equal to epsilon 0 A by D. D increases, C decreases. One can see the decrement in C is observed like this. So as you increase the reverse bias voltage, the capacitance value goes on decrease. So varactor diode is the component where change in frequency and change in capacitance like use is there. This is the use of, you can say, LED. Normally LEDs are used widely in our day-to-day life. So this is a simple practical arrangement of the verification of IV characteristic of the LED, where one can connect the battery and rheostat, the potential developed across this diode. This is a milliampere meter which may be used to measure the current, and this is the LED which is in a forward bias. That's why we may get here the milliampere current. If you connect these LED in a reverse bias, there will be current in a microampere range. Now comes the very important component is a transistor. So transistor is the component where it was invented by Bardeen, Volta and Brattain and Shockley. Transistors basically replaced by the vacuum tubes which was used previously. Very important features of transistors are there is no heating delay and no heating power needed. You can say smaller in size and lighter in weight. You can say low operating voltage what we require for the transistors, and lower power consumption is very important for the transistors. Long life and no aging effect, shock proof. Junction transistor structure. Basically to fabricate the transistor one can use silicon or germanium. You can say the middle region of the transistor is the base, and the two outer regions of the transistor are known as emitter and collector. Suppose is a NPN transistor, then the base is P, and N, the first one, and the N, last one, are known as a emitter and collector. One can say for the NPN transistor, emitter is made up of N-type material and collector is also made up of N-type material, but still type of material are same, but one cannot interchange the emitter and collector. Reason is here, two regions are having the different physical and electrical properties. Most of the transistor collector is physically larger than the emitter regions, and you can say it is reason is there why it is made certain larger width, because it is used to dissipate the heat from it. Base is made up of very thin lightly doped material, and emitter is a heavily doped. Doping of the collector is between the heavily doping of the emitter and light doping of the base. The function of emitter here is to emit or inject the electrons into the base. The base passes most of these electrons onto the collector, and job of the collector is to collect these electrons from the base. Transistors has a two PN junctions. One can say transistor is a back-to-back connected simple PN junction diode. Between emitter and base one can say is emitter junction, and between base and collector one can say it is a simply collector base junction is a collector junction. So transistor is like a PN junction diodes, as I told you, is a back-to-back diode. Observe the symbol of NPN transistor. Emitter has an arrowhead. Normally, if you try to see the NPN transistor, so arrow is coming out from the emitter side, so it is known as the NPN transistor. And if it is a PNP transistor, from the emitter side, the arrowhead is entering into the emitter terminal. See, this is the, you can say, working of the transistorized circuit. So this is the N-type emitter, this is the P-type base, and this is the collector. Now see friends, here we are connecting two switches, S1 and S2. So this is the battery terminal which is negative, and negative is connected to the N-type of the battery. Here one can say this is the positive which is connected to the N-type collector. So in a simple way, N-type is connected to the N-type of the battery. So you can say emitter junction or emitter base junction is, in this case, if we press this S1, is in a forward bias. In this case, if we press this S2, then collector means N-type is connected to the VCC positive plate of the VCC, and hence negative is connected to the positive. So collector base junction will be in reverse bias. So let me consider the case number 1, where I am pressing the switch S1 and we are not pressing the switch S2. As I told you, as we press S1, this emitter base junction will be in forward bias, and there will be, you can say, diffusion of electron from this emitter to the base and the diffusion of holes from base to the emitter, and friends, we are getting certain current. But as I told you, we are not pressing here S2 because in our case S2 is open, so we are not observing any collector current. This one is the condition where S1 is closed and S2 is open. Now the condition number 2, where we are considering S1 is open and S2 is closed. So as S1 is open, this is not considered, but this is the collector terminal, or you can say collector region is connected by pressing this switch. So negative charged particles of the collector and positive of this battery are connected. So this is the region which is now in a reverse bias. So as I told you, if your diode is a PN junction diode in a reverse bias, then minority charge carriers are flowing. You can say we are getting certain current. Okay, there is IC, collector current, but that collector current is a leakage current. Very less amount of current is flowing through this terminal. You can say that current will be in nanoampere range, and this current is known as a ICBO, collector to base open collector to base open current. You can say no current by